There's a moment every gardener knows too well. You've watered, weeded, fed and fussed over your tomato plants for weeks, only to watch those promising green fruits turn into soft, sunken disasters. It feels like a punch to the gut. But what if I told you the fix isn't a $40 fertilizer or a specialty spray from the garden centre? What if the secret to growing massive, healthy, picture-perfect tomatoes is something sitting quietly in your medicine cabinet right now, and it costs less than $2? Today, on Timeless Crops Haven, we're diving into the shockingly simple, dirt-cheap trick that gardeners rarely talk about, yet swear by once they try it. If you've ever dreamed of producing those giant, glossy, deep red tomatoes you see in seed catalogues, this might just be your turning point. Before we get into the method, let's talk about the real culprit behind disappointing tomato harvests. Blossom end rot isn't just an eyesore. It's a sign your plant is starving for one critical nutrient, calcium. Without enough calcium reaching the fruit at the right time, the cells at the blossom end collapse. That's when you see the dark, leathery patch forming at the bottom of the tomato. And here's the twist. Most soils already have plenty of calcium. The problem is that the plant simply can't access or move it fast enough, especially when watering is inconsistent or when the soil pH is off. So even the richest-looking garden bed can still produce weak, stunted tomatoes. This is where the $2 miracle steps in. Generic antacid tablets, the same ones used for heartburn, are mostly made of calcium carbonate, one of the most absorbable forms of calcium for plants. When buried near tomato roots, these tablets dissolve slowly with each watering. That means your plant gets a constant supply of calcium exactly where it needs it most. No complicated formulas, no expensive additives, just simple, dependable nutrition on demand. And the best part? The method works whether you're planting new seedlings or rescuing struggling mid-season tomatoes. Let's start with the planting stage, because that's where you can make the biggest long-term impact. When setting out a tomato seedling, dig a deep hole the way you normally would. You want it deep enough to bury part of the stem, because every inch of buried stem becomes new roots. Before placing your plant inside, crush 2 to 3 plain antacid tablets with your fingers. They don't need to be powdered. Breaking them into a few pieces is perfect. Drop them into the bottom of the hole and lightly mix them into the surrounding soil. Now set your tomato plant in place, backfill the soil and water thoroughly. As the weeks pass, those tablets will slowly dissolve every time you water, creating a steady reservoir of calcium beneath the plant. It's like setting up a season-long insurance policy against blossom end rot for just a few cents. But what if you're already halfway through the season? What if you're seeing the first dreaded black spots and your heart sinks a little every time you check your plants? This is where the mid-season rescue method works wonders. Start by removing any damaged fruit. They will never recover, and keeping them simply drains the plant's energy. Now take 4 to 5 antacid tablets and dig small holes around the plant, about 6 inches away from the main stem and roughly 4 to 6 inches deep. This area, known as the drip line, is where the most active feeder roots live. Drop 1 tablet into each hole and cover it. Finish by giving the plant a deep watering. As the water pulls the calcium down into the soil, the plant immediately begins absorbing what it needs. And, unlike sprays that only treat the surface, this method feeds the plant from the inside out. To maintain consistent calcium flow, repeat this process every 6 to 8 weeks. This simple routine can save an entire crop from collapse. But calcium alone doesn't grow giant tomatoes. Even the healthiest plant will struggle if the vines are allowed to crawl across the ground. Tomatoes that sprawl are more prone to disease, slug damage, rotting, and blocked airflow. When vines stay upright, the plant produces more energy, more flowers, and ultimately far more fruit. And here's the good news. You don't need expensive cages or elaborate trellises. All you need is something soft and stretchy. Old t-shirts, pantyhose, thick cotton strips, anything that won't pinch or cut into the stem. Cut the fabric into long, narrow strips, loop them gently around the main vine, and tie them to your support stake or trellis. The stretch in the fabric allows the plant to sway safely in the wind while keeping it off the ground. This one small change improves airflow, increases sun exposure, and reduces disease pressure dramatically. It shifts the plant's energy away from constantly supporting its own weight and back toward producing the big, juicy tomatoes you're aiming for. When you combine proper support with steady watering, consistent calcium access, and a healthy root system, you create the perfect environment for massive fruit. And the beauty of this approach is its simplicity. No complicated fertilizer schedules, no pricey additives, no guessing. Just smart, targeted steps that work with the plant's natural needs instead of forcing results. Over the season, the payoff becomes obvious. Firmer fruit, fewer blemishes, taller, stronger vines, bigger harvests, and best of all, tomatoes that look like they belong in a farmer's market showcase. This $2 hack might sound almost too simple to be true, yet thousands of gardeners use it quietly because it works. Once you try it, you won't want to grow tomatoes any other way. So, if you're ready to change your harvest for good, start with those inexpensive antacid tablets, support your vines, and give your plants the structure and nutrients they deserve. Timeless crops. Haven is all about helping you grow smarter, not harder. And this is one of those small secrets that makes a massive difference. If this guide gave you value and you want more powerful gardening tips that save money while boosting your harvest, make sure you subscribe to Timeless Crops Haven, hit the notification bell and share this video with your fellow gardeners. Happy growing, and may your next tomato harvest be your biggest ever.